Fala galera, beleza com vocês? Aqui quem fala é o Boss. Galera, seguinte, antes de começar com o react de hoje, eu queria trocar uma ideia aqui com vocês relacionado a essa animação. Bom galera, é o seguinte, essa animação já tem uns dias aí que eu queria gravar ela, desde quando eu comecei a fazer esses reacts novamente aqui no canal. Mas aí foi passando um dia, eu fui gravando outros jogos, aí não deu certo e hoje eu ia gravar. O que acontece? Eu fui na página, eu sempre deixo salvo os vídeos que eu vou gravar nos favoritos do navegador da internet. O que aconteceu? O vídeo original ele foi removido do canal, do criador, do cara que fez a animação. Eu fiquei, what? Por que, cara? Até agora eu não sei o porquê, tô até com medo de fazer um react sobre essa animação. Mas aí eu pesquisando na internet eu consegui encontrar a mesma animação, do jeito que ela tá. Tá até com um pouquinho da qualidade dela, não tá tão boa como a original, mas dá pra assistir, tá em HD e beleza e pá. A gente vai estar reagindo nessa animação original do Siren Head, tá bom? Eu tô ligado que tem uma versão aí BR, mas eu quero assistir a versão original. Belezinha, show? Então bora lá, vamos estar reagindo essa animação aqui da origem do Siren Head. E começou, vamos lá, simbora! Que vida
Of course
boa!
it would decide to come back today, of all days. Any foggy day is fair game, but today, if it was smart enough to keep track of time, I'd say it was mocking me. It would have been easy to stay home that day.
Mulher lá ao fundo, cuidando da casa, morando no campo, que vida boa!
Or hang the washing up to dry like Ma asked. But the sun was so warm and inviting. A perfect summer day like that couldn't be wasted. But even then, there's a million other things a kid could have done in a farm bathed in sunshine. Plenty of places I could have gone. Of course, they told us to stay out of the woods, but I always sneaked out, and they never stopped me. I thought Ma was paranoid. Who ever heard of people disappearing in those woods? That's the kind of stuff you hear in children's books. Pa gave that indifferent, listen to your mother nod whenever Ma brought it up, probably too busy to care what she was lecturing me about. Despite it all, I figured this is real life, not some fairy tale. There's nothing but critters and mischief out there. What really sent me into the woods that day was naivete, bravery, and a girl named Caroline. Even after thinking about it all these years, I can't quite put my finger on the moment things went wrong. Maybe I just wasn't alert or observant enough.
No caso ele tá contando uma história de algo que aconteceu.
His walk got more and more tense, and he started growling. He always did that when meeting new people, so it was easy to dismiss. By that time, we were getting pretty deep into the woods, and I expected her to pop out from behind a tree at any second. She was definitely nearby, but I couldn't find her. And then she started calling my name, asking me to find her.
Jackson!
Jackson! Come!
Venha,
Her
Jackson!
voice
Vamos brincar no
was
meio do
muffled,
mato!
staticky, or maybe she was just further away from the spot where we said we'd meet. She wasn't as familiar with the woods as I was, so I started to worry that she'd gotten lost, even though she didn't sound scared. I arrived at the meeting spot, an old stump that kind of looked like it had a face carved into it. The woods were darker, the trees much taller and more dense, and there seemed to be fewer creatures around. It was quiet. No bird calls or squirrels scurrying up and down the tree trunks.
Resumindo, não tinha nada
I
por
called
perto,
to her a few
somente
times,
aquilo lá e
but
pronto.
she just kept calling for me to come. Milo was still on edge.
E o capeta chamando. Já tão ligado quem é que tá chamando ele, né?
That could have been when things went wrong. After a few minutes, I was worried that she had hurt herself and needed my help. So I went off in the direction of her voice.
Cara, se ela tivesse machucada pedindo sua ajuda, ela não tava pedindo sua ajuda dessa
I
forma.
called to her over and over, getting more concerned with every passing minute. The tree trunks were immense, and I can't say that the tales of people disappearing at the hands of a forest-dwelling monster didn't cross my mind.
Alto lá. Reparem essa imagem e olhe lá ao fundo. Vocês conseguem ver logo acima do cachorrinho, tipo, a estrutura física do bicho ruim? Sei não. Vamos lá pra frente. Vamos ver, vamos ver.
In my head, I was preparing a speech to
Eu acho que era ele, velho.
Caroline when I found her. Something about sending me on a wild goose chase through the woods and making me worry about her. She sounded like she was nearby, but something about her voice was freaking me out. I thought about turning back and calling it quits, but I felt like I was getting close. Then Milo started barking the loudest I'd ever heard him and darted back and forth around me. I panicked and backed up too quickly, tripping over a root and falling. A sharp pain shot up my leg. From the forest floor, I looked up at the canopy, and my jaw dropped. Standing at least 40 feet tall was the
encontrou o capeta aí,
nastiest
40 metros de altura.
combination of man and machine I'd ever seen. Its arms and legs were so thin, I could see the outlines of veins and bones beneath the skin. There wasn't a bit of flesh on its torso either. It looked like a vacuum-sealed skeleton. But the creepiest part was its head.
É porque tá longe, né, velho?
Black of a head. Atop its neck were a pair of sirens facing in opposite directions. No eyes or ears, but it did have mouths inside those sirens. And as I looked up at it, completely in shock, it turned down towards me and opened its mouths.
Jackson!
I scrambled to my feet and ran with all the strength I had.
Meu Deus do céu.
Both by my
Só
side.
corre agora, é o doguinho aí, ó.
As I was, hearing the deafening sounds of trees cracking around me, their enormous trunks splintering and crashing to the ground. That's when the siren started blaring from the creature's head. My muscles burned and my lungs screamed for air as I burst through the clearing of our east field. Ma was standing by the truck on the far side, her mouth open in disbelief. I'm sure she could have felt the ground shaking from a mile away. Pa was already running towards me with a shotgun, but as he saw the horror that came behind me, he stopped dead in his tracks. Eyes wide, he pointed to the entrance to the tornado shelter built under the house. I didn't think that was going to be enough to keep us safe from this behemoth, but my body was giving out. The pain in my leg from falling in the woods was growing with every stride. I put everything I had into that last stretch of my sprint to the shelter. Milo managed to keep pace, and Pa ran ahead to unbolt the door. Ma broke out of a trance and
O mundo se acabando e o cara... Que eu não tô entendendo? Esse outro cara tá arrumando, tá abrindo a porta aí, fazendo alguma coisa?
No tornado. The door flew open and Pa dove inside. Milo leaped in ahead
Ele
of
tava abrindo, beleza, ele
I
tava
stumbled
abrindo.
in a few seconds later. It took a few beats for me to realize Ma hadn't come stumbling through the door behind me. She was running as quickly as she could manage.
E tamanho do
wild
cara,
eyes
velho.
staring right into mine, screaming the whole way. But the thing was faster than her. Its final step toward her shook the ground so intensely, I thought the house was going to come down on top of us. She was knocked off her feet, and its massive hand came down on top of her. I looked away.
Capturou ela, mano. E aí?
I'd never seen such helplessness and pain on his face. Ma cried out my name as it lifted her up, then turned to walk back towards the woods. We couldn't do anything but watch.
Olha a cara do outro cara, velho. Um tá se cagando e o outro tá lá. Aí isso é, que nem eu falei, é o passado. Ele tava contando a história do que aconteceu, né? Isso já é no futuro. Tomando a cachaça, beleza.
Milo.
Olha o doguinho aí, já tá com um pelo branco.
We got an old score to settle. There hasn't been a day in my life I haven't
hoje é o
thought about
grande
that
dia.
morning. Thought about that. That thing.
Aí
How
ele
it
pulou uma
ruined
pra
our
ficar calibrado
family.
pra poder, né,
Ruined
ficar
our lives.
ligeiro assim.
I've mourned Ma every day, and never even knew what happened to her. How she might have died, whether it tortured her or not, or if it just kept her prisoner somewhere. I lost Pa that day too. He blamed me for the whole mess, started
did, né?
drinking, and eventually left. All these years, it's been just you and me, Milo. And now we're going to finish this. Wherever you've been all these years.
Agora eu fiquei na dúvida. Será que é o menino ou o pai do menino agora? Mas eu acho que é o menino depois de velho,
Torn
cara.
families apart. I bet nobody's tried hunting you the way you hunt people, though. And I bet I'm one of the only ones who ever got away from you. You know what that means? I know you. And I've got nothing
É o
left to
menino. É o
lose.
menino.
I hope you're ready to meet your maker, Siren Head.
Jackson, come.
You took my mother. You took Caroline. How many other voices have you stolen, freak?
Bravo! Vai! Legal, a legenda coloca umas coisas nada a ver, né? Aí, mano! Ó o dog. Caraca, ele consegue engolir o maluco de uma vez só, se ele quiser, né, mano? Poxa, eu pensei que o doguinho ia imitar tipo o doguinho do Resident Evil 4, cara. Ia avançar em cima dele, igual o outro avança em cima do El Gigante, cara.
Come, Milo.
Não, não vai não, doguinho. Bom, jovens, chegamos então ao final de mais uma animação aqui, mais um react feito aqui no canal. Dessa vez essa animação, ela surpreendeu um pouco no final, aparentando que vai ter uma continuação, mas eu creio que não, viu? Já porque o criador removeu o vídeo original do canal dele e é bem estranho. Eu tô até com medo de fazer esse react aqui no canal, tomara que não dê treta aqui no canal. Mas eu tô pensando seriamente em fazer esse canal aqui, só um canal de react, cara. Gente, seguinte, não era pra estar comentando isso aqui nesse vídeo não, mas eu vou falar. Vocês sabiam que o canal também posta outros vídeos assim de gameplay de outros jogos também? É legal quando vocês vão assistir outras séries aqui no canal. Vocês não sabem o apoio que me dá e como me deixa feliz em saber que vocês estão assistindo os outros conteúdos do canal também. Acompanhem o canal pela pessoa que o faz, não somente pelo conteúdo, porque isso toda hora muda, cara, mas o cara que faz o conteúdo sempre tá aqui, beleza? Falou!